Direct News TV. March 22, 2024. Russia-Ukraine War Live News, Russian strikes leave 1M without power. Ukraine says at least 3 people have been killed and 14 wounded in a massive wave of overnight Russian air attacks. The Ukrainian Air Force says it downed 92 of 151 missiles and drones fired by Russia, an attack described by an official as the largest strike on energy infrastructure since the start of the war. Russia's refineries legitimate targets, Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister Olha Stefanishyna says Russian oil refineries are legitimate targets for the Ukrainian forces after a Financial Times report says the US has asked Kiev to stop attacking Russia's energy infrastructure. We understand the calls of the US partners, but at the same time, we are fighting with the capabilities, resources, and practices that we have, she told the Kiev Security Forum. We reported earlier that the FT report said Washington had urged Kiev to stop strikes, warning of the risk of possible retaliation and an increase in global oil prices. Ukraine's Naftogaz says gas facilities hit during Russian attack. Ukraine's state-owned oil and gas company Naftogaz says its facilities were damaged during Russia's overnight strikes on Ukraine's energy system. Specialists are already working on restoring the damage. Electricity supply has already been restored to some of the affected facilities. Our gas workers are also working on restoring damaged gas networks, Naftogaz said in a statement. It did not elaborate on what was hit. Russia says attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure were in retaliation. Russia's defense ministry says its wave of strikes on Ukraine's infrastructure was part of a series of revenge attacks to punish Kiev for its earlier incursions into Russian territory. In a statement, the ministry said it successfully struck several power grid objects, railway nodes, ammunition depots, and other targets this morning. Significant gap between Russia and Ukraine on peace talks, China's Eurasia envoy. China's Eurasia envoy, Li Hui, says Beijing sees significant differences between Russia and Ukraine regarding a negotiated settlement to end the war. Briefing media and diplomats in Beijing after his trip to Russia, Ukraine, and the EU states, Li said he saw a significant gap between Kiev and Moscow regarding peace talks. Despite the bumpy road ahead, he said, in the end, they all agree that the war must be resolved through negotiations rather than guns. They both recognize the danger of the current situation continuing to deteriorate. And they all agree with China's call for the situation to cool down, he said, adding they expect China to play a more constructive role. Key events on day 757 of Russia's war on Ukraine. It's day 757 in the war, and these are some of the key developments. At least 17 people were injured after Russia launched a wave of missiles, including 2 Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, on Kiev. Russia's defense ministry claimed its forces captured the village of Tonink about 8.5 kilometers, 5.2 miles, west of Avdiivka in eastern Ukraine. Russia handed over 6 Ukrainian children to Ukraine following mediation by Qatar. The U.S. Embassy said Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich remains strong and resilient in a Moscow prison, where he has been for nearly a year. Investigators in Kiev detained a senior Ukrainian army official accused of embezzling about 58 million hryvnia, $1.5 million, of funds meant to buy food for the country's soldiers. My name is Kingsley. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to be notified whenever we post. You won't regret it.